We've been waiting for this game for a very long time. Guerrilla Games has been working like animals on this sucker. It is called Horizon Zero Dawn. It's one of the most heavily hyped PlayStation games I can remember. Johnny Millennium from HappyConsoleGamer, did this game make you happy?
This game has lived up to the hype. There's so much hype. This game's being worked on for about 5 or 6 years now.
Yep.
It's Sony's big exclusive game. Is going to deliver. I was blown away. I went in with kind of low expectations. I kind of always go into most games with low expectations, and I started playing this game. I'm like, wow, this is really good. I'm like, wow, this looks really good. Wow, the gameplay's really good. I'm like,
and the story is really good too.
The story's really good. The
Yes.
characters are really good. I felt kind of bad that I was not finding a lot of negatives.
This was, I think, kind of the stealthy way that Guerrilla Games was kind of sneaking stuff out on this game.
Unintended.
Yeah, they didn't want to make this too big of a deal in terms of its overall scope and its content and its direction. I think they did. They had a sense of the hubris involved in overhyping this thing.
Yeah.
So what we've been given in terms of little hands-on demos and stuff at E3 and some playtime around it. To be honest, I haven't been that excited about it. I remember talking about this game with Ben Silverman last year at E3, and it just didn't rock my world. But
what was it about it that you didn't rock your world?
Because I thought that it was just going to be another just
generic
full-on action thing. We played that Recore game on the Xbox One, and it was just okay. And I thought that there were some similarities with the sort of game kind of concepts that were shown to me, basically hunting down robots in the landscape out there.
For sure.
I thought we were going to be kind of just doing that over and over again with this game.
Another adventure-style game,
And it's not that. I mean, that's a huge core tenet and a pillar of the material in this game, but there really is this familial kind of mystery. There's a lot of heart. There's a lot of soul. There's a lot of great conversations.
The world is alive.
Yes.
As well, this is a living world.
Yes.
When you go into the wild, monsters are just roaming on their own. People are there asking you to do quests.
Yep.
We will give no spoilers as well.
Yes.
This storyline has been surprising.
Yep.
I've been into the story, and I thought, it starts off. I'm like, am I really going to be a part of this?
Because it throws all the narrative. This is the big challenge with games, right? Like they throw all of these different buzzwords and place names and people names, and it's like everything's a different language. And this takes place on Earth, but many, many, many years into the future. Yeah, there's major sort of dystopia. There's lots of
mankind's being wiped out.
Totally, and sort of reborn with everybody that has dreadlocks. It feels like everybody's got dreadlocks and hockey pads. There's a lot of hockey pads and lots of crowns that look like they were made out of like gold-plated tinfoil or something like that. Lots of that kind of thing.
Technology has been worked into this braided medieval society of the future.
Yes,
absolutely.
And you play a woman named Aloy, who is a fierce hunter and has some serious skills. She's trained by this unbelievably cool warrior named Rost, and has picked up a lot of great abilities. And also, as a young child, you actually play some sequences. We're not spoiling too much here, but
this happens in the opening sequence, really.
You play as the kid version of Aloy, and you discover some really interesting technology that is then sort of interwoven into the story and into the plot line for the entirety of the game, and is a big sort of embedded element in the mystery of this game.
Absolutely.
And it works really well, right?
Hidden mystery of the past, and that's what they do so well, is that this world is a world unto itself, but it's the ruins of the past that are so intriguing.
Incredible, right? It's beautiful. This is one of those games, and it's been pitched as this, and it's been hyped as this, and I'm happy to tell you that it is this. I have an incredible 4K television and the PS4 Pro, and I played this, and it's a match made in heaven. It looks incredible. God rays everywhere, beautiful filters, the moonlight seeping over the thing, the electricity sparking and crackling off of
mushrooms on trees, all that silly stuff. Like, even when you look, we have mountains behind us right now, but in the game, when you look at the mountains, you see like ancient technology spread throughout it, and it's so neat.
It's incredible. There's this, you're going to see this in various places, but you'll be, walking past these sort of newfound ancient cities that have become ancient by the new humans that have risen from the fall of the old humans, which is really kind of crazy when you think about it. You see the ruins of sort of modern cities and things like that around there, but you also see the ruins of like castles that were big 100 years ago in the fiction of this game.
Yeah,
So there are
so
layers
surreal.
upon of layers and layers.
Very well creative world. I love it.
Yeah,
so
it's
much.
amazing, but it's crazy to see these decrepit old tanks
Yeah.
that have just sort of fallen into the earth, and they are earth-shaped and earth-colored, and
You
they,
know what they are, but these guys don't know
no,
what it is. That's
yes,
what's cool about it.
yes, no, and it's wonderful. And in terms of those hunting mechanics, it is a big part of the thing. You do have to take down these lumbering giant mechanical monsters, and
Everybody says it looks like Zoids. Isn't that so weird
Yeah.
when you think about that? But they're so cool. looking.
They are cool, but I also think that's one of the kind of limitations with this. You can only, it makes the game very T-rated as opposed to the R-rated hunting that you would do in Tomb Raider of humans and animals in that game.
But you do find humans in this without any spoilers.
You do, but it does, by having a huge chunk of your the antagonists be robots
Yes.
and sort of outfitted with these mechanical abilities, it does suddenly move you back into the T category,
Yes.
and also makes the thing look a little more cartoony than I think the rest of the game, the way that it kind of washes over you.
I can understand it. It gives a very cartoony look to it.
Yeah.
Where
Which I
everything
didn't-
else is very harsh in reality, right?
Yeah, and I didn't mind that, and also because it's still cool.
When I'm walking around the land and I see a horde of like monsters and they all start running or they start attacking,
Yeah.
I'm into it and I'm like into the combat. And that's something else we have to talk about. The combat is very engaging.
It is, yes.
You use a device called the focus, and it kind of spreads out and it shows you all of the enemies and the enemies' weaknesses and their strengths and their walking patterns.
Yes.
So you kind of know where they're going to walk to next, how to avoid them. I didn't realize there was going to be so much stealth in this game.
There is a ton of stealth, and
Yeah.
this is what's really impressive about this, is that it's layers upon layers of systems, of gameplay mechanics and systems, and everything is so tuned and so, efficiently crafted. And as much as I was a fan of the Killzone games, and I actually really liked the launch PS4 Killzone game, I thought that was a really fun, fluid, beautiful experience as a first-person shooter. It wasn't really, they haven't ever really been groundbreaking
No, they're
games.
just shooter games.
Yeah, and they also kind of always have been in the shadow of Halo and other shooters that have done, bigger business for other companies. Nothing that Guerrilla Games has made before kind of makes you even think that this was possible from the studio.
Them, I know.
Yeah.
That's what's so surprising. They have been working on it for 6 years. Like really, when they sat on the drawing table and said, "Okay, we're gonna have dinosaurs that look like Zoids. We're gonna have this female protagonist in this futuristic world." I mean, it's such a gamble in a
You
way.
forgot the dreadlocks.
And the dreadlocks of the future. And everybody will have dreadlocks. And padded, hockey puck armor from the past or whatever. But it's so, I can't believe they put that on the table and they said, we'll finance it. And they did, but they pulled it off.
Well, and kudos again to Sony, for pulling out another fantastic exclusive for your console that's totally worth everybody's time.
it is,
And
yeah.
it's amazing because it's a crowded, February, March. There are awesome games
Well, yeah.
happening right now. We've got Mass Effect on the horizon. We've got Zelda imminent, and it's amazing that Horizon Zero Dawn is filling space in there and making a name for itself. It's brand new IP. It's out of nowhere. These are characters we don't know anything about. That's part of why I love it. But, in terms of mechanics, the stealth is killer. The actual, bow and arrow type combat is super fun, and obviously you get different types of arrows.
Controls fantastically.
You get into hand-to-hand combat or sort of blade weapon, spear combat. That's great. There is some RPG hesitation. This isn't God of War, so
No.
you're not going to have that fluidity, that sort of butter-like kind of control. But
You can boost your skills and
you
stuff
can,
like that. Yeah.
and it actually works really well considering the massive open scape.
system.
Yeah, it's
I know.
huge,
It's crazy.
and it looks incredible. No matter if you're in the snowy areas or the deserty areas or in the green areas,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
And everybody's trying to compare this to other games. They're like,
Yeah.
this is like Zelda, this is like Metal Gear, this is
Yeah.
like Tomb Raider. Well, it's a little bit of everything to create its own game.
Yeah.
And I don't want to compare it to any other game. It's its own brand new franchise, and they've done a successful job with it. I've enjoyed my time in this world.
Yeah,
so much.
and honestly, you can keep going on with the comparisons, and that's, I think, a hallmark of our best games. The games that stand the test of time and that we all refer back to. I remember the Arkham games. I could easily kind of reference Metroid and Metal Gear and stuff like that. With this game, you can reference Tomb Raider. You can reference Shadow of
Uncharted
Mordor.
even, yeah.
You can reference Uncharted. You can reference Dragon Age. I mean, there's so many different disparate pieces that have come together to build this massive
Brand new thing that works perfectly well.
It's very, very, very impressive.
Very satisfying.
We got to score this thing and let people ride their own hype train on Horizon Zero Dawn. What are you going to to give it?
9 out of 10.
It gets a 9.5 from me. Really, really great work, Guerrilla. Hey, thanks for checking out that video on our EPN channel. It's just one small part of the things that we make around here. So if you liked it, don't forget to check out some of our other vids and hit that subscribe button.